Hello friends of the internet, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Genki Fujii. I'm a Japanese journalist and author. Today I would like to talk about the Senkaku Islands. Today I'm addressing this message to all the peace-loving people of the world, in particular to freedom-cherishing Americans. The Senkaku Islands are Japanese territory, no question about it. But these days, Chinese communists claim the territoriality over these islands, and they invaded quite frequently the Japanese territorial waters around the Senkaku Islands. That is the problem. So where are the Senkaku Islands? They are located on the southwest end of the Japanese archipelago. The Senkaku Islands belong to the city of Ishigaki. Ishigaki city belongs to Okinawa Prefecture, and Okinawa is the southernmost prefecture of Japan. Currently, nobody lives in the Senkaku Islands, but many Japanese lived there before. And Japanese has been effectively and peacefully controlling these islands more than a century. August this year, some Chinese from Hong Kong landed on one of the Senkaku Islands. They were immediately arrested by Japanese police. They were not retained but repatriated to Hong Kong. 2 years ago, in September 2010, a Chinese fishing boat violated Japanese territorial waters and intentionally crashed into a patrol boat of the Japanese Coast Guard. Of course, captain and the crew were arrested by Japanese Coast Guard, but the Japanese government didn't keep them in custody but repatriated them to China. Very peaceful response to very aggressive actions. Communist China asserts sovereignty over the Senkaku Islands. However, their assertion is not based on international law, historical facts, or evidence. Communist China is the most authoritarian and militaristic empire, and recently it has started expanding with military forces into the South China Sea and even to the East China Sea. On the South China Sea, China has evoked territorial disputes with Vietnam, the Philippines, Brunei, and Malaysia. China is an aggressive imperialistic country. There is no freedom of speech, no freedom of press in China. China is ruled by only one party, the Communist Party of China. After the fall of Soviet Union, China is the last communist empire on earth, the most dangerous country. Now let's look at the history of the Senkaku Islands briefly. In 1884, Japanese began exploration of these islands. Before that, these islands were uninhabited, meaning nobody was living there. No Chinese, no Taiwanese. Tatsushiro Koga. Mr. Koga was the leader of exploration, immigration, and the development of these islands. 11 years later, 1895, the Japanese government deliberately declared territoriality over the Senkaku Islands. At the time, no country objected this action. In 1896, government of Japan leased the Senkaku Islands to Mr. Koga. And in 1932, government granted the Senkaku Islands to Mr. Koga's son, Zenji Koga. Zenji Koga became a property owner of these islands. World War II broke up. Then Japan and the United States became adversaries. In 1945, Japan surrendered to the United Nations, and the United States occupied Japan, including Okinawa, including the Senkaku Islands. Japan regained independence in 1952, but Okinawa was exceptional. The United States occupied Okinawa from 1945 to 1972. In 1972, Okinawa Prefecture finally returned to mainland Japan. That was 1972. During U.S. occupation of Okinawa, the United States government rented 2 of the Senkaku Islands. Those islands were used for targets of shelling and bombing. United States government paid rent. To my best knowledge, the U.S. government is still renting these 2 islands of Senkaku. With the reversion of Okinawa, Senkaku Islands returned to Japan. But Communist China didn't approve of that. Why? The reason is very simple. Because one UN-related organization discovered a pretty big oil field in that area in late 60s. In December 1970, China suddenly started claiming territoriality over Senkaku. That was the beginning of a territorial dispute between Japan and China. Now I'm going to show you irrefutable evidence that proves Japanese sovereignty over Senkaku. There are many proofs, but let me present a few. Now look at these old and new photos. This is a very old photograph. This is a village in Senkaku Islands. People were gathering. Certainly you can see the national flag of Japan. It is a huge house. And in its peak, there lived more than 200 people in the Senkaku Islands. Look at this picture. Two fishing boats are coming into the harbor of Uotsurijima. Uotsurijima is the biggest island of Senkaku Islands. And look at this picture. This is very interesting. What is this guy doing? Actually, this guy is gathering feathers of albatross. There is a colony of albatross even today, and feathers of albatross sold with a pretty good price. So the two major industries of the Senkaku Islands are fishing and gathering feathers of albatross. These are new photos taken about a decade ago, and certainly in Senkaku Islands you can see the ruins of the houses of Japanese villages like this, and also there are tombs and there's a cemetery of Japanese villages. And interesting thing is this photo. This is a stone monument to commemorate the achievement of Koga family who developed the Senkaku Islands. This stone monument is located on the beach of Uotsurijima, the biggest island of Senkaku. Photographer of these new photos is this guy. His name is Hitoshi Nakama. Mr. Nakama is an assemblyman of Ishigaki City Assembly. So as a member of City Assembly, he visits islands of Senkaku quite often in order to conduct research. This is another photo of evidence. This landmark made of stone, this was erected in 1969 by city of Ishigaki on Uotsurijima of the Senkaku Islands. It says clearly, it says Uotsurijima in the Japanese language, this says Senkaku Islands. And this plate shows that this island belongs to the city of Ishigaki. This landmark was erected by the city of Ishigaki in 1969. Second evidence is this map. Please look at this map. This map was issued in 1960 by Communist China. To be exact, this map is from World Atlas issued by the Beijing Map Publishing Company in 1960. Here is the national border between China and Japan. This is the island of Taiwan. Line B is the national border, and A is the location of the Senkaku Islands. Obviously, Senkaku Islands belong to Japan. So in 1960, Chinese communists knew clearly that Senkaku Islands were territory of Japan. Third evidence is this letter of gratitude of 1920. This was given by Chinese consul stationed in Nagasaki City to villagers of Ishigaki City. Things goes this way. In 1919, 31 Chinese fishermen from Fujian province were shipwrecked near the waters of the Senkaku Islands. villagers of Ishigaki rescued those 31 Chinese fishermen and helped them to return to Fujian province. So accordingly, in the following year, 1920, a council of the Republic of China presented this letter of gratitude to those villagers of Ishigaki. This document clearly states that 31 Chinese fishermen were shipwrecked in the seas of the Senkaku Islands, Okinawa Prefecture, Japan. That means the government of the Republic of China recognized Senkaku Islands as domain of Japan. Fourth, this is another incontestable evidence. This is an article of People's Daily of Communist China, dated January 8th of 1953. People's Daily is a newspaper organ of the Chinese Communist Party, as you know. This article says the Ryukyu archipelago or Okinawa archipelago consists of 7 different groups of islands, and one of them is the Senkaku Islands. This article exhibits undoubtedly that at that time Chinese communists admitted that Senkaku Islands were Japanese territory. Chinese communists knew it and wrote it so. From 1972 to 78, the Koga family gradually granted the Senkaku Islands to Mr. Kurihara, a Japanese businessman. Mr. Kurihara obtained the title of those islands. Then September this year, 2012, it was revealed that Mr. Kurihara sold these islands to the central government of Japan. Now the government of Japan is the landlord of these islands. Hearing this news, Chinese communists became furious. Then there happened anti-Japan riots in China. Rioters, mobs, they destroyed Japanese companies, factories, and they looted Japanese supermarkets, and they injured some Japanese in China. Horrible incidents. Those Japanese companies contributed a great deal to economic growth of China. They created well-paid jobs for Chinese workers. But the rewards for their contribution were anti-Japan riots. The landlord of Senkaku Islands, he sold these islands to the Japanese government. But before and after procurement by government, these islands are Japanese territory. In terms of sovereignty, there was no change. But Chinese got mad. It is quite difficult to understand their mentality. It's just like a Texan selling his land property to federal government of the United States. No foreign government should intervene. We defend Senkaku Islands by ourselves, but we need assistance of the United States. Because Chinese communists, they don't hide their big ambition. China desires to annex the entire South China Sea and also even the East China Sea as inner seas of the Chinese Empire. It means China wants the South China Sea and the East China Sea as their territorial waters. A senator of the United States, James Webb, he warns that China has unilaterally decided to annex an area that extends eastward from the East Asian mainland as far as the Philippines and nearly as far south as the Strait of Malacca. In spite of Chinese aggressiveness, American response has been muted. I know, with respect to territorial disputes, American foreign policy's principle is that the United States stands neutral. Hey, we take no sides. That is American attitude, I know. But this standstill policy doesn't work vis-a-vis communist China. American vacillations rather have allowed China to be more aggressive. During the last 7 decades, the United States of America has been essential guarantor of stability in Asia-Pacific region. By taking no position, the US will enable China to act more aggressively. I'm convinced that America will live up to its essential role as the true guarantor of stability in this region. If America does not live up to its honorable role, the region will be dominated by fear and dictatorship. Appeasement with communist China, is it possible? Simply it's impossible. it's like appeasement with Hitler. We have to be careful, because Chinese communists are very good at deception, propaganda, and historical fabrications. They have a long tongue and very short memory. Don't be deceived by them. The United States of America has been the flag bearer of freedom and democracy since its independence. Now Japanese are standing up against Chinese communist invasion. This territorial conflict over Senkaku is not just a contest between two nationalisms. This is a contest between peaceful democracy and militaristic autocracy. Americans and peace-loving agents now are standing behind Japan, behind Japanese, and supporting us. It's very encouraging. We need strong commitment of the United States of America in order to fight back Chinese communist imperialism. We have U.S.-Japan Security Treaty. Repeatedly, U.S. officials also clearly have stated that U.S.-Japan Security Treaty covers the Senkaku Islands. We feel very much encouraged. In the case of emergency, the United States surely will help Japan with its decisive military actions. Together, hand in hand, let's establish more stable peace in Asia. Also, let's liberate China from communist dictatorship in the long run. We remember the Soviet Empire collapsed. So I'm very sure in someday Chinese Communist Empire surely will collapse. If you need more evidence to prove Japanese sovereignty of the Senkaku Islands, I recommend you to visit the website of Society for the Dissemination of Historical Fact. I am one of the directors of this society. This society's website has abundance of evidence for you. Thank you for watching my YouTube channel. My name is Genki Fujii. See you next time.